Well, hello, and welcome back. I'm A. Joe Neal. This is Beyond Code Live. Oh, actually, I've got the wrong thing up on the screen here. That's okay. I'm going to just bring this on over. So I've been playing around with JSDoc and TS server for type linting. Basically, just getting there's a whole new category of errors that I can avoid. Basically, is what this is about. And actually did a kind of a presentation on this at a meetup, although it went a little sour because my configuration wasn't quite honed and it took a while for me to get around to get things working. Anyway, just as a continuation of that, I was trying to tighten that up, and I ended up going through some old code of mine, and I'm just kind of exploring, trying to understand what is, because it's not quite TypeScript, because it's JSDoc, but it's using the TypeScript server linter, so I'm kind of learning about TypeScript as I go through this process. And by the way, for any of you that are watching, if you do find out that you like this and it's valuable content, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Otherwise, give it a thumbs down, because every thumb helps. And when I'm looking right here, it's because I'm looking at comments. And when I'm looking right here, you can tell I'm looking at the camera because it looks like I'm looking at you. But anyway, I just want to let you know that before I continue any further. We'll see where this goes. I'm just trying to, I don't want to sink too much time into this, but it's a skill that I want to hone. I kind of want to figure out where's the places where I should worry about it and where I shouldn't. One place that I'm pretty sure I shouldn't worry about it is where I've got little one-off meta programming. So, for example, right here, what this is doing is it's just this particular module that I'm looking at right now. This is async router. I talk about this all the time. This is one of the best discoveries of the 21st century. But it does a fair bit of meta programming, and so, for example, here's something that doesn't really convert well between TypeScript and JavaScript, and I'm becoming more and more convinced that TypeScript is really, really not at all like JavaScript. It is very much C#, just kind of shoehorned over top of JavaScript. And here's a good instance of that. So you can get an array of arguments. Arguments can be anything. It's actually kind of difficult to define an array of, I guess maybe I don't know how to explain this, because arguments can be an array of a string or a function, or an array of a string or function, or array of string, a function, or array of string, a function, so on and so forth. So there's a recursive type definition. I don't know how to handle that, and I tried to look at some issue for it, but I didn't really get that. So if you know how to do a recursive type definition in JSDoc, I'd be interested to know how that works. It seems like there ought to be a way to do it, because certainly there are definitions that are recursive. For example, somebody raised an issue where it was JSON, but then you're also dealing. Maybe I could do it like this. I'll try one other thing. Because it would be cool if I could get rid of these TS ignores in some of these places, but let me finish that one thought first. So you've got this array, and then fn could be a string, so case, we know it's a string here, and then case, we know it's an array here, and then case, we know it's a function here. But if I comment out the comment, maybe you can see down here, it's actually complaining that it's not that I can't do this because string can't be an array. But at this point, we already know that it's an array because we're in that case statement. So this is kind of weird, because if I was in Go or Rust, it would know, like, oh, you've chosen your type, or your case, or your enum, or whatever. So it's just doing the thing. But here it can't quite figure it out. So I'm going to try one other thing. Let me see, what am I doing there? Oh, that's just my Twitter. I'm gonna try one other thing real quick. There we go. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how to recursively define this because, yeah, that is its definition. What I really want, see, I want to do this, MWArgs, middleware arguments. That's what that's supposed to stand for, MWArgs. But it says type alias MWArgs circularly references itself. It's like, well, yeah, it does. What do you want me to do about that? That's the way it is. Anyway, so I'm just going to leave that as an any and not worry about it, I guess. And then let's see down here. So this is a handler. Interesting. And I think, yeah, this is actually one of my pet peeves, so I'm glad that it's doing this. Returning nothing. You should either return something or don't return anything. Don't return nothing. Return something or don't return anything. But actually, maybe that isn't quite right because in this case, I think it is returning something because it's the async wrapper. So it's going to handle results. So it is going to return. So this one, it's not quite. So I have it saying it's an express handler. It's not quite an express handler. So I wonder how I could kind of adjust this to say it's an express handler, but it returns something else. Because I know how to do a merger of two different types to add functionality, but I don't know how I do it to replace its return type. So that's what it's complaining about here. So again, this is just one of those places where it's like, well, yeah. Yeah, in all of these places, I just don't know what else to do. Because this is just meta program. This is not a case where TypeScript is good. The reason I went into this is because I want what gets exported. Which I think I might just kind of be doing this one in vain for the most part. Because I can add this, but then I just have to TS ignore all over the place because I don't think there is a good solution for this, and I don't think it's worth investing more time into it. Oh, and this is going to be error handler or error request handler. Is that what it is? Yeah, like that. Okay. So, I mean, in some ways, I just kind of feel like at this point with this particular style of code, I'm just kind of junking it up by putting in all these TS ignore comments. It's not really that helpful. But it's just, again, I'm just kind of playing around, kind of figuring out, like realistically what this is. It is a wrapper. It is a wrapper around the express functions. It is not this. The reason I went here is just for this. This is it. I just wanted to be able to say that this router function returns what it returns should be considered for all intents and purposes to be an express router. Because it is an express router, it's just every function over it is wrapped. So it is, if I were to do this in a different way, then maybe I might say that, this implements express router. But what I actually did, let me show you what I did. This is the money right here. If I did nothing else to this file, if I just had put this here and that was it, I would have accomplished my goal. And so I think for the purposes of publishing this, I might just do that. And I did get rid of some junk, some garbage from the package lock and all that. But let's take a look here. The purposes of improving what needed to be improved, because I'm going to take a look real quick at this libindex here. We added some comments. It's almost entirely adding comments. There was one thing I simplified, so I actually did like that this particular piece right here. This other stuff, this is just me kind of goofing off, trying to figure out, okay, how could I do this better? This actually does kind of fix a bug, this one here, and this one. I think it kind of fixes a bug. But for the sake of keeping this really, really tight around the immediate problem that I was trying to solve, I think I might just copy this. The use strict would be good. And I don't really want to touch much else because, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. Well, I guess it's all just comments, right? It is just comments. I'm not changing any of the code except for that, but that's something that should change anyway because it's not communicating what it does. So let me just take a look through here. So if we didn't get to the point where we got a function, let's see, and that's doing a return anyway, so that line's not necessarily. I could take that line out, I suppose. So if it's an array, we're assuming that there's nothing after the array. Okay, I get that. That makes sense. So yeah, I'm a little cautious about putting in these throws here, though. I need to test that before I publish it. So yeah, for the sake of keeping this really clean and simple to just what it needs to be and removing extra cruft that didn't need to be there in the first place, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip commit on this. Well, I guess, let me just, if I'm just being super lean about it, the only thing I needed to do was that right there. So this would be a, minor feature. I don't know what exactly to call it. Because I'd say this is appropriate for a patch. This is really docs is what it is. Add TypeScript definition for router. Add TypeScript definition. Router returns express.router. That's really what that is. Yeah, that's appropriate. And then as far as this other stuff, okay, we do need to move the JS hint. That's kind of a bug fix. But that, again, it's more of a documentation, lent, chore, I don't know what to call it. So let's just take a look at that one. Yeah. So I'll do git commit -m, and I actually, we'll leave it with version 8. I don't think we need any crazy new features anyway. But what would this be? I mean, chore, lent, fix lent, JS hint, just rename, I don't know, .js hint rc, plus remove browser. We don't need the browser stuff in there, so that's good. Oh, hey, what's up? From Ohio. Cool, another Will. Welcome. As you might be able to tell, I got a little bit of I'm kind of got over the cold mostly, but still got a little bit of a froggy throat. Nice to meet you. Are you a Node dev, or what do you do? Yeah, so this one, I'm just going to take care of a couple of these little minor items while I've got them. And then with the package JSON, yeah, I think all I was doing here was just removing junk. Like, I like to remove dependencies. One of the reasons I don't like ESLint, well, aside from the fact that it can't actually lint JavaScript, which is insane, because it is, hodgepodge together over time and everything. It requires all these transpilers to not future JavaScript that doesn't even exist. It can't lint actual standard JavaScript. Well, at least it couldn't 6 months ago. Last time I tried getting it all worked up, and I don't want to have to transpile code to lint it. That just doesn't, it's whatever. That's just the insanity of that. Okay, so I did add types express. That's fine. Got rid of rimref. That was just junk. I don't even know why that was there. Lint stage, husky, all that, ESLint, all that's gone. Yeah. Okay. So, and I could probably do. There's one more thing I should do here. So JS hint. I should probably do npx JS hint at 2. I think, and then same thing here. npx prettier at 2. And then we could get rid of the jest dependency if we did npx jest at 26, I think. I'll test that out to see if that actually works in just a second. npm run test. But I love getting rid of dependencies. Yeah, that looks like it's doing perfect. Yep, cool. So we can go ahead and get rid of the dependency on jest. We can get rid of the dependency on prettier. We need the dev dependency on express and supertest. Those actually do need to be installed. The other ones don't. Anyway, I'll get back to what I was doing with the JSDoc stuff. Hey, welcome to the channel. My name's AJ O'Neill. What's your name? I've been watching too much Katie's Classroom with my daughter. That's how she does. She's like, I'm Katie. What's your name? Anyway, yeah, let me get out of here just a second. I think this looks pretty good. Oh, URL get, yeah, that's fine. Where's homepage? Oh, that's interesting. So what I do need to do here is add the homepage. Kind of surprised that wasn't here. There we go. Fix that right up. Oh. There we go. Okay, what's wrong with this now? What did I do? It'll tell me in a second. Huh. All right, well, nothing's wrong with it. It's just fine. Okay, so I'm going to run in. I just ran npm install, right? So I don't need to do anything else with the package lock file. Package lock file should be mostly deleting things. And the big, the big thing that I'm doing here, really, it's just this. I've got this module. It fixes some, the promise thing with Express, where Express doesn't handle promises. It's very light, 50 lines of code or so goes around it. And I just want to say, hey, this module gives you exactly what Express Router gives you. And I just want the type hinting for that. So I created an index.d.ts file because, so one of the things is, if you're using JSDoc for TypeScript, it looks like that won't work quite the way you want for NPM dependencies. So the NPM dependencies, what they need to have is this .d.ts file that has the same name as the corresponding JS file for anything that you're exporting publicly that you want the type hinting, type linting, whatever to work on. And so you kind of have to abuse a couple of different systems here. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and add package.json. And then just really quick, make sure that this is only what I think it is. Okay, let's not take a look at the white space changes. All right. So what we've got, we added types express. We're removing a whole ton of stuff. That's great. I'm just going to skip down to the bottom here. Remove a whole ton of stuff. Give it versioning for that. Give it a home page. Cool. And I guess I should bump the version, but I'll do that in just a second with npm. So we'll just call this a chore cleanup package.json. Remove junk deps. And then, let me check the comments here real quick. I saw comments came in. Notice what I'm most comfortable with, which isn't saying much. All right. Can't code much, so I'm I code vicariously through you and others. Awesome. Well, code vicariously away, I guess. So because y'all joined after I had already kind of been going through this, I'm going to go back into this for a second real quick. Well, I guess I will do it. Let's see, what way should I do this? I think I'm going to do the get diff again. So this really ended up not being super useful. I'm just going to copy this because this part I do want to commit, and there's a couple other things I might want to commit later. But I don't know that it's really useful because mostly what I had to do, because this is metaprogramming and TypeScript do not go together. So if you're doing metaprogramming, if that's what your module does, don't try to TS lint it, because you're just gonna, it's just gonna complain, and you're just gonna end up having to put TS ignore, TS ignore, TS ignore. So when I'm done with this file and I'm looking like, okay, yeah, I put some documentation on a couple of things, but and there's a case here where it actually should throw an error. I'm going to wait on that before I push this bug fix, because this is breaking change from Express's behavior. Express will throw an error in this particular condition. This wasn't throwing an error, so I do want it to throw an error, but I want to test that before I publish it. Stuff that's just docs changes, totally fine with publishing without testing, because docs changes, right? But I need to test it in a real environment. But as you can see, like half of the comments that I'm adding are TS ignore. So at that point, it's like, yeah, I'm not really gaining much there. So I'm just gonna drop that and not bother adding it to this project. But I am going to stash this. Go in here. Whoops. Go in here. And then what was it? This one right here. Set paste. And then let's go ahead and get rid of all these pluses in front. Whoa, what was that? Get rid of all the pluses in front here. We'll turn the pluses into nothings. Is it like this? No? Oh well, I'll just do it by hand. There we go. That's a little bit quicker than figuring it out in this particular case. And then, yeah. So I feel confident. I looked at the Express documentation, and arguments is only ever one optional item. So it's actually a little bit cleaner to get rid of that particular case. And then what else? There's like one other thing here that made a lot of sense to change. So return next makes a lot of sense to change, because either return something or don't return it. Don't return nothing. I'm pretty strong on that in JavaScript, because it's very confusing when somebody indicates that something's being returned, but actually nothing's being returned. This one, I think it actually is returning the promise. I need to check on this. Handle result. If it's not actually even returning the promise, because it's doing the try catch here. And yeah, we're not returning anything. And the next doesn't return anything, right? So that's the thing that's confusing, because when people have custom implementations for stuff, like if they have a middleware where next can return something, because I've done a little hacky-do here and there, in my darker days. So when you're doing a little hacky-do, it's good to either communicate you are returning something on purpose, or you are not returning something on purpose. So I really, you hear me say it again and again. It really bugs me when people do the return on something that doesn't return anything, because it just breaks my brain. So I think this actually is a case where these returns are bad returns. So I'm going to double check on this, but this is async wrapper. So the question is just, okay, handle result. Yeah, okay. So what we need then, because this is async wrapper, wrap middleware. Okay, but the question is, do we actually need to return that promise? And I don't think that we do. So I think we could just do this. I think this is appropriate enough. Because it's not actually, when I'm doing these awaits, to me, this is communicative. That's not the right word. Communicative is a math term. What I mean is that it communicates its intention. So really, we don't need to even await it. That's not necessary. And the reason for that is that the await is happening right here. And we're putting a try-catch around. This is one of the very few exceptions to where a try-catch is appropriate. Normally, a try-catch is not appropriate. Don't do try-catches. It's the wrong thing to do. But in this particular case, this actually is a reasonable reason to do try-catch. And we could maybe even simplify this a little bit. Maybe we could pull this out of the try-catch type of thing. Because I don't like it when there's big blocks, just in general for anything. I don't really want to go changing a lot about this code right now, though. I just want to clear up the intent that it's communicating. So these are all async functions. I should just turn off the TS linting. I'm just going to move this tsconfig.json, tsconfig.json.back so that we don't get any of the TS linting, because it's not useful here. Okay, and this is one where it was complaining. I agree with what it's complaining about, and this was one that I do want to fix. So for each function method, there we go. And we can get rid of this. And again, I got to think about this. Does this actually mean anything? It's so confusing. This one does do something. This one, does it do anything? I don't think that it actually does anything. This one means something. That's actually returning something on purpose. Anyway, I'm going to get out of this in just a minute. We're going to go look back at the project where I'm actually doing... so the template that I'm setting up, which I totally should put in the description, I'll put it in the description right now. I'll just take a second to do that. So this is a project that is just a JSDoc starter. So if you are doing Node and you want to be using JSDoc TypeScript linting, you want this. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the comments, not the comments, but the chat, as it were. And then I'm going to go over, I'm going to click the edit button on the doobly-doo, and I'm just going to move it into the doobly-doo right now. Oh, I should put a little light on my face, in case you want to see my face. All right. And so this kind of, it's a repo. If you check in the description, it just added it right now. It's there. But you've got it in the comments. But this is the repo that kind of started me on this tangent tonight. This is what I did a presentation on tonight. And it is, you should be able to go in this repo, do npm install a couple of things, make a small change to your vimrc, or add the TypeScript linting to VS Code. And when you open up the project, the goal, once I finish pushing the couple of changes I need to make, is that you should see that there are errors in the project, but you should see where the errors are and where they aren't, so that you get a feel for, okay, how is this type linting actually helping me? Like, why is it worth it? And as part of that, I'm going down the path. I discovered, okay, it doesn't realize that my async router is just express router. It thinks it's something different. So I just had to go add that type in stuff. Anyway, so here we are. And I am going to take a minute. I'm sorry that this is not, what's in the title, but I'm going to take a minute to think through this, because I want to make sure that this is communicating properly what is actually going on here. Okay, so this is methods for each. We're taking, if I'm not mistaken, wrap router. Yeah, so this app is actually the express router. And does the express router need to return anything? I don't know whether it does or it doesn't. I would think that it doesn't return anything because you call app.get, app.whatever. I don't think it returns anything. Oh, no, it does. It does because you can do the chaining. You can do the method chaining. So this would be return self, I guess. I mean, I don't use Express that way for the most part. But let's see. Fn is app method, and then we're applying it. Returns self for chaining. Okay. So, and same thing here. Returns self for chaining. All right. So this one here, when we do the wrap middleware, yeah, we need to get something back. That makes sense. And then here we need to get something back. Okay. So this, it might be good. I think it actually would be good to, let me see, what have we got in my copy paste buffer? Just return. I think it actually would be good to document this. I think that using the appropriate JSDoc comment might be the better thing to do. So let's see. What have we got here? Options. So this is, what is he doing here? So I didn't write this code. I appropriated the code. This is what I would have written more or less if I'd written it myself, but I took it, I fixed a couple bugs in it, the author didn't respond, and so I said, okay, I'm going to maintain this project now because I find this extremely valuable. And I guess, so in the route here, what could options be? I guess it could be a lot of things. I don't want to worry about it. Let's call it an array of any, potentially an array of any. No, it's definitely an array. I'll just say it's an array of any. And I think it is optional because you can route. No, it's not optional. Okay. So then, yeah, and that's what it returns. And then this, we could say this is the same here. And then what it takes in terms of params is a lot of stuff. So I'm just going to omit that because, yeah, we're kind of dealing with arguments there. And there, now I don't have to say return self for chaining. Now I have a JSDoc that is appropriate for what it is. So I'm just kind of building up this habit of using JSDoc where I would have normally used just comments like what I just had in there. And I think that's it. I think that's all I want to do here. Let me go ahead and do a git diff. Okay, this is appropriate. It's clean. This is both of these. Get rid of a linter error, or not linter error, but linter warning. And I appropriately document what that returns. I could maybe do that as a single line comment. I don't want to go back and deal with it. And then here, I need to double check on this. I just need to think on it a little bit more because I'm wrapping the middleware and I'm returning a function when I wrap the middleware. So it's the middleware function itself that I'm wrapping, and middleware does not return anything. Whatever you return, let me think on that for a second. Because we're going to await. If we return a promise, that's, I mean, essentially this is implicitly returning a promise. If you do async await, it is returning a promise because the way that it kind of transpiles under the hood, so to speak. So, okay, this communicates clearly. We're not returning the value of the handle result. We're not implicitly, what's the word? We're transpilingly returning the result of it. Okay, so I do want to put this into, let's see, I want to just double check here. Yeah, we do want to return there. And actually, I'm going to change around one more thing. I don't want to change around too much, but let's go ahead, because I like to say, okay, what's the smallest amount of code that we can have inside of a block? That's the smallest amount of code that we can have inside the block, right there, right? So better to read top to bottom than it is to read from left to right. So we want to, and then we can get rid of that return at the end that's not very meaningful. Yeah, so that reads a little bit simpler. And I guess we could say, let's see, where's extra? Extra is there. Okay, it goes into the logs. Yeah, all right, makes sense. I know what that's about. Okay, cool. So let me just take a look at this again. Let me do white space. Oops. And look down here. We're swapping that out. We're moving that up. And then everything else stays the same. So that looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and add this. And then what should this commit be? I'm just going to call this like chore, make linter happier, add better comments. That's basically what that is. And then let's do npm version. I think all this stuff that I've done here, if we look at the git log, it's all docs, chore. None of it is a real code change. I guess technically that is a minor refactor, but so maybe I should call it as such. I think I will. Not that it much matters, but just being a little pedantic. Let's just reword that and let's say we'll call it refactor. Because the idea is that the message should tell someone basically what's the likelihood that this could cause problems for me? What's the likelihood that this commit is the reason that my life sucks right now? And if you see a refactor in there, you could say, well, that's potential. That means code was changed. It wasn't just documentation. And that's fair. There was actually a code change there. There was no code change here. There was no code change here. There was no code change here. So that one did have a code change. All right. I think that's fair. And then I think I just want to try this out real quick before. Let's see, do @root async router. I'm just going to put this over in a place where it could do some damage. Let me see, what have I got open here? So I'm gonna go back over here, and we're gonna look at source API routes. This is a project. This is a work project. I just want to see. Maybe I don't need to do it here. Yeah, there it is. So I should be able to get rid of some of this stuff now. Because one of the reasons that I wanted to, I'm trying to figure out like what can it implicitly tell versus what do I have to tell it. So if the function signature matches what it's expecting, now that it knows, because it's got the type definition files for root async router, now that it knows that router is express router, now I shouldn't have to have these comments here, which are kind of ugly, and I know are going to be objectionable to some of my coworkers. They're going to be like, that looks really ugly, and I have to agree. So I want to see now that I have the type definition correct, it should actually, instead of giving me type lint warnings on this function, it should just deal with it. That's my hypothesis. Let's see, why is that taking forever? This is a big project, so because it's got the TS server for linting, it's got hundreds of files in it. It takes a long time, like you saw. That was like 15 seconds or something there. So, but anyway, what we don't get, so let me try this. Let me try doing foo. I want to save. I want to see if it comes back and gives me an error on that. I'm hoping that it will. But I think, was the type checking not turned on right now? What's going on? Where are my warnings and errors and stuff? Let's go take a look. I might be skipping over them. There's some sort of key combination that should take me to the next error. I should look that up real quick. I will. If I actually learn that, that's one of the 20 key combinations that should be in my Vim repertoire. Vim, go to next warning. Yes, I've only been using it for 10 or 15 years, you know? Like, why not learn now? Jump next error in Vim. Yeah, see, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? All right, see next or see previous. Okay, this is what I'll do then. So I'll do that right now. There's nothing. That didn't do anything. What do you mean there's no errors? There's obviously something because it's got the gray bar on the side. Yeah, it doesn't like this. No overload matches in this call. So I'd be very interested to see what it thinks that is. Okay, let's see what we get here. All right, so I don't have to do anything to ignore that anymore. That's cool, I guess. Oh, and I think I fixed this problem. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. Let me get rid of those. I don't think we need those anymore. If I didn't fix them, I can fix them. I know how to fix it now. So that was, and I exited the linter or whatever. But I go into my types. These are my type overrides that I've defined in my tsconfig. And so these are overrides for Express. So they kind of, I don't know if they're overrides. They just kind of get joined in. So here I've got result, and then I'm also going to add error. So now it knows anything that I put in here, it knows is supposed to be on my my Express. All right, so that's looking good. Cool. So yeah, the more like I don't really want to have to do a whole ton of these. You know, like I want to put in JSDoc comments where it's meaningful, but I don't want to have to put in them all over the place, especially where it's really redundant, I guess. So what would be good to know is what is our post new user and why doesn't it like it? I'm thinking it just might not exist. Okay, rec res. So I don't know why it would be uppity about that one. That seems reasonable enough. Our post user. Our post new user. Okay, so this maybe. Okay. Yeah. So I think this is what happened. So I was doing this as a hacky do to get around the types, but now that I figured out the right way to override the express types, I can go back to using the express type. And I think actually what I can do, yeah. So this is when I just first started this. So I'm getting better at it. I'm figuring it out as I go. So what I need here is I need an at type and then import express.handler. That's what I need to do. So then I get rid of all this other stuff. Is it will log in or create a new user? Sure. Cool. Yeah, and then yeah, so now it's not going to whine at me there, and I could probably get it to not whine at me in other places. So value's now red, cool, get rid of that one. And then let's see, I'll just go down this file, see if there's anything else. Now this one is kind of a funky one that I have not, hold on, let me go back up here real quick. So I do have to declare the handler everywhere. Am I using airback anywhere? Airback, yeah, I think I don't need to do that. I think there is, I'm gonna search this real quick, see if there's a type for airback. So type, oh, excuse me, TypeScript airback. Let's see. I was hoping there was just one of its utility types or its built-in types or something would be an airback, because that's just something that's so, you know, core. But whatever, we'll leave that there. I think I can get rid of this one. No, I can't. I can't. This is not an express handler. That actually does make sense for it to be what it is. Okay, but this thing right here is kind of annoying. Unknown email. Let's come from a model. This is just one of the things where it knows where this is coming from, but for some reason it doesn't know that it's a type that has query. And so the way I've been getting around that, I won't go into it right now actually. But I've been getting around it just by adding, there's a global types file that I'm keeping, and I'm adding some type aliases there, and then I just annotate these things as I come across them. I don't know if I really want to do that. If it's the only one in this file, then sure, I'll go ahead and do it. So what is this, role? Let me go check that out real quick. So is the model in here called a role? That seems like that would be weird. Class role extends base model. Interesting. So I think that was a mistake. And that might be why some of my types are messing up, because there's, yeah. So it should be class unknown email. That's why it's messing up. And I wonder, I wonder what if I did class dot star extends and source models. What am I going to find here? Let's go ahead and sort these by, let's just sort them. That's a little hard to read. So let's do cut dash D, say the equal sign, and we'll get field 2 through 1,000,000. There's like a better way to do that, but I don't remember what it is. Okay, class. No, that's not the way we want to do it. But we do want to cut the colon and go, oh, I think I just put dash. I think I could just do F2 dash, and I think that'll work. And sort these, okay. And we can get rid of the exports modules. I think we can do that with sed. So I just said, I think I'd just do S, let's say colon module dot exports equals colon. Yeah, there we go. All right, and then we sort them all. So let's see if any of these are duplicates. That's what I want to look for. Do we have anything where we're using the same name twice? Because that might be part of what was screwing up some of my type stuff, is if we have types that are, all right, base model user, active user, category. Okay, so we got 2 categories, so that probably needs to get fixed. Let's see. Module extends base model. That's probably messing me up. By the way, if you know how to just get the duplicates, I wonder if sort has a duplicate option. I'm just going to search that real quick. Bash sort duplicates. Because really, if I could find how to print only the duplicates of a value from a text file. Man unique. Unique-D. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do that then. Sort and then unique-D. Okay, cool. So, these things might be mucking me up a little bit. So let me go ahead and check these out and see what we got. Calendly log. Okay. Class Calendly log. Cool. Oops. All right, what else we got? Class module. Let's do a reports rule next. So I'm wondering if I get rid of these duplicates, if some of that stuff where it's not mapping correctly will just clear itself up. All right, source action. So that one, report rule. Yeah, I really think classes in JavaScript they're a stupid idea. Again, so much of the crap that goes on in JavaScript is just because people don't like it. They want to be something else. They get on a committee and then they lobby for it. And then for some reason, they're given a go ahead. You know, it's kind of like those people that went to the Olympics and then protested America. It's like, if you don't like America, don't represent America. You know, like if you don't like JavaScript, don't be on the committee to make it into something different. Like be on the committee to make it better at what it's good at. Don't be on the committee to screw it up for everybody else. Access code. But yeah, because like right here, I mean, it seems like it should know all these things are extending base model. Base model extends objection. So it seems like they should know that they all have queries on them, because it should just be able to tell from the typing. And I checked the type files, everything looks right. So I'm just hoping that maybe this is the problem, is that the duplicates is causing errors. All right, let's see. But it doesn't look like this is in the way. So this should be session log. All right, module. And then what do we got? Email log. Email log. And then, whoops. Wait, why am I even in here? I wasn't here to do work stuff. Oh, well. Document credit. Let's see. Let's just run that again and make sure. Cool. So we fixed that problem. Let's see. -dub. Oh yeah, so what I was here for was I wanted to make sure that it didn't seem to break. So I wanted to run my tests before I do an npm publish on this. I wanted to do my tests on the product at work in the dev environment. Okay, cool. And I wanted to see that it's happy with the typing that it has. So first, let me go over. I've got my work stuff up over here on the other screen. I'm just going to go restart the server real quick. And then in the other window that you can't see, I'm going to go rerun the tests real quick. Fingers crossed. And everything passes. Excellent. That's what I like to see. Cool. And then, did I really get rid of all the errors that were in here? Or is it just being slow? This is the problem with the TS server. It's just so daggone slow. Well, for hundreds of files. It's not so bad when you got a couple files, but when you got hundreds of files, it's just so daggone slow. You don't know, like, did it load yet? Did it run yet? Well, here's how we find out the answer to that. We go to this, And instead of .get, we call it xget. And then we see if it pops up with an error. And it didn't. So, oh, no, it did. There we go. Cool. So that lets me know, yeah, it is loaded. So if that goes away in just a second, then yeah, typing's working great. All the tests pass. That's good enough for me. The test pass locally, the test pass when I do the other thing. Let's see. I don't want to get that file, do I? Let's see. Get add src, get reset, get status. Okay. And then I'm just going to double check these things real quick. Wait. Oh, no, I do want to update that one, don't I? What? Get add. Huh, that's weird. Okay, yeah. So let me do a get diff on these and just do an oops with the -w, of course. And just do another quick check, make sure this looks right. This is good to push up. And it looks like it is. Okay, yeah, so this is what I was talking about. I want to go back in that other file. I'll do that tomorrow. But I have to put in these types, so it should know that the model is inheriting from objection. So it should know that it has a query function on it, but it doesn't. And so I created these kind of funky merge things that I showed earlier in the global types definition file, and then I just type alias it where I use it. But like, I don't know how to do this. Because I want to just type alias it in one place and have it be good, you know? So I wonder, okay, I'm going to finish going through this, and I do want to check out two things that I'm wondering on. One is, could I just type alias it here? Because it says it's a class. And it's doing a query. It's not really, I don't even know why it's called a class. Because it's not really a class. Well, I guess it's kind of a class. I don't know. It's doing something weird. But anyway, now that I've fixed up that bit, I'm wondering if that, now let me go in another file. Where was I before? I'll be so happy if this cleared up my problem. Where was I looking at query just a second ago? It wasn't in this file. Let me go back. Was it? I should see my history pretty quickly. Routes index, document credits. That was all that stuff I was looking up. Before I was into here, what was I looking at? Right about unknown email. Is that where it was? Yeah, an unknown email. Query? No, it was before I was in unknown email. Dang it. What was I in just before that? Let me try this way. Unknown email, and then I think it was .query. Right? Yeah, so I was in, maybe I was in here. Or maybe, I think I was in here. This is where I was. Because that's where the previous error was coming from. But I fixed that now because I ruined my custom type aliases. So I got to wait 30 seconds or so for this to finish loading. And then, I'll have to cause an error on purpose so I can know that the thing's done loading. Okay, well, no, I didn't have to. It loaded. Yeah, so here we go. Unknown email. Unknown email. But it knows. It knows. Query does not exist on type unknown email. So I'm going to go do this. Whatever. So here's my types file. I'm just going to go in here. And we're going to do the exact same thing. Unknown email. And base model. And import objection is unknown email model. And so then I'm just going to go back in that file. Sorry, let me bring this up so you can kind of see it for a second. So I did was I created a type def, with the type that I know exists because it's a class, with what it already is extending, which is it extends base model, and base model extends objection model. And then I type alias that as unknown email model. So that's what I do. And then if we go back to where it's being used, then I can just do this little ditty. Oops, star at type. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go, like that. And so now I save this. Oh, I guess I need to do it like that, sorry. And now when the thing finally does load, let me go ahead and put an error there so I know when it's got an error. It's still a JSN error. There we go. Now it's a TS server error. Cool. So I go ahead and do that. And query does not exist on type of unknown email. But I just did, wait, unknown email model. I just told it it's a different type. Oh, I need to tell it that where I import it. Sorry. Duh. A little slow on the uptake. It is 2 a.m. after all. Okay. So, whoops. Unknown email. Now it's not complaining. So I would like to know what's causing this problem, but I think it's just, I don't know. It's something about, I'm guessing that for whatever reason, it's not reading it that many layers deep. Because we can look here, we can see unknown email extends base model. We can see base models being required here. We can go into base model. And we can see class base model extends model. And we can see that model comes from right here. It comes from objection. So for all the fanciness that the TypeScript server is doing, I have a high degree of confidence that it should be traversing this tree structure to arrive at, okay, model here refers to objection.model. I mean, there's part of me that wonders, okay, here's one other thing that I'll try. Here's one other thing I'll try, just for giggles. Let's just see if this works, because it is, a process here. Let's do, if we say extends require objection.model. I wonder if, because this could be it, because these different JavaScript interpreters have different features. Some of them have so-called tree shaking. Most of them don't, from what I understand. They just talk about it in conferences as some proposed feature that'll exist one day, and then it doesn't actually do anything for you. Let's see. Class static side type of base properties graph options. Huh. So, okay, maybe this isn't the right way to do it. Maybe let's do let objection equals. Let's do this. Objection.model. Let's try it this way. See if it gets any better. Circular definition of import alias export equals. What if we did this? What if we did, maybe it's just syntax. What if we did it like this? Class static side base model properties with graph options. I wonder, I wish I could get the full error on this. I wonder if there's a way, I think there is actually. If I click, can I click here? No, my GUI thing isn't working. Oh, hey, welcome. Where are you from? What do you do? What's your interest in the topic of the day? I'm just going through, I'm just kind of playing around. I'm actually, right now, I'm looking at some work code because it's big code, and there's some particular problems I'm trying to figure out with how the TypeScript server is interpreting JavaScript and classes and stuff. Let's see, vim, let's say vim see full error message. Normally, I would just get out of vim and then run the thing. But the problem with TypeScript servers, it takes 20 seconds to load every time, and I don't want to do that. YCM, blah, blah, blah. I only show message if there's... maybe I need to do vim al see full error message. When I'm looking over here, I'm checking for comments, by the way. So I would love to, if you've got suggestions on how to do things, I always love to hear them. Let's see, what do I need to do? All right, let's see. Auto command, let's see. Opening a list window with linting errors? I don't know. I really do want to see... All right, what is this complaining about here? Because now it's started complaining about everything. Errors is declared, but its value is never read. All right, that's fair enough. Sure, I'll get rid of it. All destructured elements are unused. That cannot be right. Validation error. Maybe it can be right. Not found error. DB error. Unique violation error. Not null error. Okay. Well, why did it not tell me that before? That's kind of strange. Seems like that should have been something that it warned me about. All right, values never read. Seriously? There's just like none of this stuff? Values never read. Okay, something's wrong here. This can't be right. Really? Testing how long it takes to make a random string of bytes. Oh, yeah, I know what that used to be. That's before we put this in here. Okay. Base model. Yeah, no, I believe that. This looks like it's... This doesn't look right. If it seems like it should be if this dot created at. Oh, weird. Oh, no, I see what's happening here. Okay. Okay, so there's some funky stuff going on. Again, like another reason not to use classes, because, you know, at first when I heard Douglas Crockford say that he thought that type languages don't solve the problems that they're aimed to solve and that they're more dangerous than not being typed, at first, and still, I was like really skeptical. I was really skeptical at first. I'm still kind of skeptical, but I could kind of see what he's talking about, because people do like retarded things in the literal sense of the word retarded, as in, you know, backwards or slow, I guess, but like slowing down, reverse, going the wrong direction, not increasing efficiency, increasing deficiency. And this is one of those types of cases. Like, what the heck is this supposed to mean? This .constructor.created at? I'm sure the person who wrote it knows what it means, but I don't know. And it's, so I think what's happening here is we're seeing this base model extends. So something that is a base model. Oh gosh, how to explain this? So let's think of, you know, typical college class hierarchy. You know, you've got an animal, and then from animals you have mammals, and from mammals you have dog. Or let's say canine, and from canine you have dog or wolf. Well, in your animal class you could check, does this have sharp teeth? And for almost everything that's going to fail in the mammals class, maybe, I don't know. But it's, it's going to be true for dog, but maybe it's not true for something else. I think that's what's happening here is this base model is being inverted. Logic that should be limited to the classes that use this logic. Instead, it's a mess. I see what's going on here. It's starting to make sense. So it doesn't make sense, but it does make sense. Okay, so what else is going on here? So yeah, rather than these being scoped to where they're appropriate, they're all being thrown into this base model, which means that, okay, you're duplicating less code per se, but then you are removing the code from where it would be useful and throwing it in here, and it's causing all sorts of type warnings, which would not be useful to fix. And I wonder if because there's so many warnings in here, maybe that's why base model isn't being respected in the way that I would expect it to. But also, I'm really curious what the rest of this error message is. And I thought I had a way to kind of take a look at it, but I don't know. Class static side of base model. And what is it saying? Doesn't have or does have properties and comma type graph options. I'm going to go into another window to look at this for a second. So let's see, what could we do? Graph options. Graph options. So this is probably going to be under node modules and types. And no, not types. Let's see, this is going to be under objection. And then, okay, there we go. Class graph options. Let's see, where's class graphs? So is something else extending it? Interface fetch graph options. I don't know. Well, I think the only way that I'm going to be able to determine this, unfortunately, is, let's see, TSC. So TSC has to load everything. It has to load the whole code to do the TypeScript checking, which is why it takes so long. So there might be an option here, say, I really only care about, let's see. Like, I just want to get the warnings that are specific to this file, not the warnings for every file. Nope, doesn't look like it's got an option for it. So I'm just going to have to run TSC. Heckabig.txt. That's going to take 20 seconds or so to run. But I'm just wondering if I could get to the bottom of it, you know? Was it because the way that it was being... I don't think destructuring should have caused the problem, but I think this, the fact that it's got an error on it, I think that could be a real clue. It's not continuing to traverse down from the base model to the model because it's upset about how base model is extending this. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it should be implements rather than extends, but I don't think that's going to work in here. I don't know. Objection.model. All right, so this thing ran. So let's look at our Heckabig txt file. And what was this? This is basemodel.js. So let's see if we can find basemodel.js. Okay, class, static side, incorrectly extends base class, static side type of model, type of property default graph options are incompatible. Incorrectly extends base class static side type of model. So this could be that there's actually an error in the code that, JavaScript's just kind of ignoring it and moving on. Or this could be that there's, oh, I see there's a comment. I'll check on that in just a second. I'll get no suggestions from me. I'm just a noob. Watching someone who says that their homework. Well, let's be careful now. Let's not go calling me someone who knows what they're doing because I'm exploring something that I don't know. But I'm just trying to figure it out. But I think this is the reason that my types aren't working the way that I want them to. I think, let's see if we get any other errors similar to this. Class static side. Types of property modifiers are incompatible. All right, I'm going to look up this error incorrectly extends. So TypeScript incorrectly extends. Types are incompatible. All right, trying to match up the two static methods. Even though you are ensuring that the return types match up, TypeScript doesn't know that for sure. You can think of it in a way where each distinct invocation of parent creates a different method in parent, one for child which extends parent, but there could be another child that extends parent. Child could not be assignable to other subtypes. It was easier just to remove the generic code and do something like this. Okay, so let me check and see here. So I think I get what it's saying. But I don't really understand what the action item would be. Again, this might just be something where I ignore it and move on and go back to what I was doing. But type no delete Boolean. Okay, I think I get this. Default graph options, no delete Boolean. So what if I just got rid of that? Let's just say, let's find where there's no delete. Let me search objection and see where that's supposed to be, because what we might be looking at is a place where, let's see, mutating methods. Let's see, do we have no delete in here? I don't see that there. Can I search that here? No delete. No delete. Added no delete, no update, options for upsert graph. Okay. So upsert graph options. But can we not have that for default graph options? I guess that's the question at hand. So let's go look at the type file for this thing. Oops. No delete under node modules objection. All right, what have we got? We've got a no delete can be an array of strings or a Boolean. Okay. Where's that being defined? No delete. Upsert graph options. Okay, export interface. Upsert graph options. But these are not in default graph options, maybe? Okay, let's look for default graph. No. Default graph options. Okay, which is graph options. Does graph options include or extend or union or whatever upsert graph options? We've got fetch graph options. We've got default graph options. We've got graph options. How strange. Insert graph options. Upsert. Interface graph options. Okay. So interface graph options, minimize, separator, alias, join, operation, match, backsize. Okay. With graph fetched, with graph joined, and those can be graph options. I wonder what that is. 4:14 a.m. Nice. Stay strong. I need to go to bed because, I've got this cold. Well, I'm over the cold. Kind of, sort of. If I got some rest, my voice would probably return to normal much quicker. But it's just like, I want to know, I got to learn these things. Well, one, I wanted to stream tonight because I'm trying to. I was listening to Atomic Habits, and one of the things that it says is, if you have a bad day, you're sick or whatever, and you miss a day, don't miss the next day. Do smaller, do less, do worse, but don't miss. And so I kind of started out with just like, all right, well, I'm going to take my notes from my presentation and fix those up. And then here I am digging through work code because I got on a tangent. But so, it almost looks like what it's saying here is, according to this documentation, is saying that option doesn't mean anything. And that might be why it's breaking it. So upsert graphs options. Let's go ahead and take a look. Can I get there? Could you please take me to upsert graph options docs? No, you can't. Okay, I'm going to go there anyway. Upsert graph options docs. Let's say objection. And I guess I'll just do the search here. Upsert graph options. No delete. All right, graph options. So is there a default upsert graph options? Is that a thing? Can I look for that? Default upsert? No, not here. Whoops. Let's go back over here. Default upsert? No. Default graph options. So do they get applied anywhere in particular? Let me go take a look. I'm going to look through this directory, default graph options, just kind of grab through the source code that they've got here. And let's see where this is all used. Let me get out of the typings. Look at it here. All right, clear the screen so we can take a clean look at this. All right, default graph options. So here's the other thing too, is I don't know if I could trust the TypeScript documentation of this, because again, TypeScript and JavaScript aren't really that compatible. As I'm learning, as I'm doing this. So, yeah. All right. So it could be that it's working as expected. Default graph options. Set the default options for with graph fetched and with graph joined. See the possible fields here. Okay, so this is telling me that isn't doing what we think it's doing, which I guess is fine. Get default graph options. All right, fair enough. And then get default graph options. Ensure eager operation. So I don't think that's going to be the upsert operation. But let's see, get default graph. Let's see, node modules, objection. Oops. It's only called in one place. So it's in the query builder. This is the only place it's ever called. And it looks like it's only used on eager operations. So let's try looking at this for upsert graph. Let me take a look at that again. All right. So it does extend query builder operation. Let's see. Upsert graph operation. Upsert options. Graph. Upsert options. Yeah, what do you know? I think it's right. I think the code is correct. I think that that default graph options doesn't do anything. All right, let's see what else it says. A different subtype of constraint model. Different subtype. What the letter L does that mean? Let's run the TSC again. Let's check it out. I'll look over at comments in just a second. Hackabig.2.txt. All right, what we got here? Nothing new. Nothing new. Wait 20 seconds. Anyway, I do want to get back to what my original idea was, whatever that was. I think it was, I was going to take put some fixes to my presentation stuff. And let's see, I'm going to switch. Let's switch over here. So this one, okay. So let's look at package.json. Let's look, do we have files defined? We do not have files defined. We totally should have files defined. And what files should go? It should be, I guess lib, right? Lib. Are there any other files that should get packed up with this bad boy? That's it. Just lib. Package.json. Yeah, okay, cool. So let's go ahead and publish this. And the reason I like to have files there is so that, yeah, like, because sometimes you got stuff like, for example, I got my example.json and my tsconfig.back and all this, and I don't want to get rid of it. I like it. You know, I'm working on it. Maybe I'll come back to it one day. I don't know. But it's stuff that I don't want to have in my ignore file. But also I'm kind of ignoring. I just haven't decided what to do with it yet. So I'm just going to leave it there where I'm working on stuff. Anyway. So you use files, and then you can make sure that stuff doesn't get uploaded with the package. And oftentimes what happens, it's funny because there was like a hacker that uploaded his own passwords while he was testing out his tools. I read about that recently. This, you know, the malware npm package uploaded his own passwords because he did this because he didn't have the files specified, and then everything that's in the directory gets packaged up and off it goes. So let's say sure limit packaged files to, well, let's say package.json.files. Specify, I don't know, what should I call that? There we go. Cool, npm version, and I'm going to say this is really just a patch. Should fix the type stuff. Need to install the following packages. Okay to proceed. Yeah, sure, let's have it do that. Interesting. Interesting. And I'm going to go back over here and see that it finally finished with this. So heck a big 2. And the same thing, right? We're looking for base model.js. Okay, static side of type of base model incorrectly extends. Types returned by query are incompatible with these types. Type query builder is not assignable to type query builder M. Huh. Type query builder model is not assignable. Query builder M. I'm not really sure what's going on here. Types returned by find ID execute are incompatible between these types. Promise model is not assignable to promise M. Why not? That seems perfectly assignable because I don't like generics, by the way. It makes, I mean, look at this. Is this easier for you to read? No, it's not easy for anybody to read generics. Model is not assignable to type of M. Well, I think that kind of makes sense. Model is assignable to the constraint of type M, but M could be instantiated with different subtypes of constraint model. Like, what the flippy do does that even mean? Can somebody break that down for me? Model is not assignable to M. M is assignable to constraint of type M, but M could be instantiated with different subtype of constraint model. Okay, so I think what it's saying is I don't know, that's a tough one there. I mean, this almost seems like circular reasoning. Like, model says that it can return type M, promise type M, but promise type M doesn't have to be model, so therefore model doesn't have to be itself. I kind of think that's what it's saying. But I want to take a look. I want to take a closer look at this. The model class here. I guess I should go to my other window. And then let's check over here. Did this thing all get done? Yep, I did. So I'm going to go ahead and npm publish. You should always publish things at 3 in the morning. It's the best time to publish things. Your brain's at peak capacity. What could possibly go wrong? Hopefully I don't regret this in the morning. Get a phone call. Everything's broken. The world's exploded. It's all your fault. I know. No, I mean, I tested that fairly well. And I'll go ahead and let's see what I need to do. Run npm CI. Yeah, I'll run npm CI on the dev server here. Interesting. Oh, yeah, there we go. Run npm CI real quick. And then I'll run npm base tag link, and then I'll restart the server and I'll run the tests. And if the tests pass, I have a fair degree of certainty that my I did a tiny bit of refactoring. I flipped an if statement and moved some stuff. Other than that, I added comments. So, likelihood of anything going wrong here should be 0. But you never know. So, okay, that's almost done. All right. So what is it? Model paths is dir name cool. I don't know. Okay, so static query, super query, on error, throw error. Seriously? Is that necessary? I mean, does that do anything? Static query, on error, throw error. I'm guessing that at some point, this probably had like a console.log or something that went in there. Let's see if I can just remove that. And I'm going to go look up in the documentation. Let's look at on error here. Registers an error handler. just like catch, but doesn't execute the query. I don't know. Well, if there's an error handler, well, let's go take a look at catch here. Because how is catch going to execute the query? Executes the query and calls error handler. Okay. Query builder.catch. Query builder.onError. Function to be executed. Return value. Query builder. On error. If instance of some error, return error. Return reject error, which is the same thing as throwing. So I'm assuming that if it's throwing, will cause the query to be resolved with an object instead of throwing an error. All right. I've got an ingrown hair on my arm. You probably didn't want to know that. But now you do. You got to live with the great knowledge of life. Okay. So yeah, I mean, to me, this looks like basically it says it does nothing. All right, so let's just run this guy again. Boom. And then let me come over here. That's been published. npm CI was successful. npx base tag link is successful. Let's restart. Cool, looks good. And then let's run the tests. Cool, all right. I feel good about it. I've adequately compensated for my 3 a.m. brain. Ingrown hairs are the worst. Okay. Well. Let's see here. Looks like we can now go see what the next error in the chain is. Cool. So it looks like just doing those two things might have made it so they don't have to do all this wrapper crap. All right, so let me go see. What if I go into my types here and let me just get rid of, well, I guess I don't have to get rid of it. I can just go back into, what was it, session? Yeah, let's go back into session here. And let's get rid of this mabob. And let's see if it doesn't play a little nicer this time around. I just gotta wait for it to load. Unknown email dot query. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it just identified dead code for me. That's great. I mean, it's a little frustrating that dead code was so, I don't know. All right. Let's see what happens if I do this. I should get, Well, if it ever loads, it should come up with an error right there. Let me try this. Well, it had something that was upset about. Come on. Give me an error. That's JS hint. Where's the TypeScript server at? Is it too angry with me? I want to see it. I want to see its response to this. Because it looks like other than that... See, I go to the top. First thing it comes into is yeah, this is all great. Cool. Well, it looks good. I just don't know why. I mean, that almost seems worse. It seems like now, what is it, type any or something? All right, what's going on here? How do I ensure that I should be getting an error from TypeScript? So what if I do like var, let's say let x equals 2, x equals hello, console.log x. Yeah, okay. So it is running. So the question is, why is it not giving me an error there now? Alias local class unknown email. Okay. All right, well, let me see. Was unknown email listed in here? Unknown email. All right, circular definition of import alias. Okay, so let's go fix that if we can. Incorrectly modifiers. Types of property modifiers are incompatible. All right, so this, it doesn't like it when you do this. This is something that maybe I could automate with Comey. Comey is a great tool for refactoring. So I might be able to use Comey later to say, okay, take all the module.exports, or take all the class, module.exports equals class. Yeah, I could even do, I don't even need Comey for that. I could just do that with sed. No, I do need Comey for that because I need to go all the way to the end of the file. So I have to dig up my Comey cheat sheet. Okay. So this is good. And static modifiers is equal to whatever. Index signature is missing in type. Index signature is missing in type. Let's go ahead and just get this thing running again. It's going to take a minute or whatever. Okay. And then what else do we need? So it's complaining about modifiers. Let me go look at the modifiers. Let's see, what are the modifiers here? Modifiers. So is it static? Let me go fix this. Let me see where modifiers are being used. Static modifiers equals. So just about everything has a modifiers, but none of them do anything. Let's go take a look. Modifiers. Basic. Okay. Is that really all we got? Just let's go in here. I mean, they're not used anywhere. Modifiers is current. This seems like a bag. Kind of like an any bag. Let's see if we got modifiers in here. Reusable query building functions that can be used in any query using modify method in many other places. So I think what I'd have to do is maybe give that a type of any. Let's see what happens if I do that. Let's see if I go back to, where was I? Unknown email? No, base model. Let's go back to base model. And then, I don't know. I don't know what I want that to be. Kind of want to just say it's an object. Duh. Could be anything. Because right here, I could see how it could come up with, it wants to type it. Let's see, how is model typed? Let me go back to, okay, index signature is missing. Let's go take a look at that one. Base model, no, unknown email, unknown, what was it? Base model. Okay, let's go take a look at base model. Base model. .js. Okay. Types of properties. Any query builder is not assignable to type modifiers. Any query builder. Okay. So what would I need to do? Index signature is missing on type. There we go. So this one makes kind of sense maybe. Modifiers, any query builder. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Then I'm going to do what I came here to do and then get to bed. Maybe. We'll see. I really can't see that much later. Okay. Any query builder. What does that even mean? Type any query builder. Is query builder any. So what the heck is a query builder? Query builder. Yeah. Query builder type. Query builder type. Query builder type. Query builder type. Okay, where's the query builder? Any query builder. Any comments over here? Anybody tuning in? No, I don't see anything. Y'all left me high and dry. At least you left me high and dry. Any query builder, any query builder. Any query builder. I just want regular query builder. Can I get regular query builder? Let me search for with, let's see, I think I need to search for, let's try with space in front. Yeah. Export class query builder. Do you have any modifiers? Query builder M extends model R equals M. Hooray. What the letter L is all this? Extends promise? Okay. Man. I'm guessing it does some... It takes the object and it does something with it. Modifiers. 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 Interface modifiers. Oh gosh. Look at that. Modifier QB. Extends any query builder. Oh man, this is just a really complex way of saying that it takes strings or key value pairs. I just wonder if I could just throw on top of that. I don't know. Okay. I think I went down far enough down this rabbit hole. I think it is worth discussing some of this with the team to try to see if we can understand anything more about this. But I almost want to say static modifiers equals objection.model.modifiers. Let's see what happens if I do that. Let's just see what happens. I'm losing my train of thought. Okay, I need to do what I came here to do. Let's get back on task. Let's see, where have I got? Was it over here? Somewhere over here. I've got the goodies that I was intending to look at. All right, I'm going to install npm install save at root async router. At latest. Okay, I'm over here. All right. Let's see. Oh, this isn't even what I want. Wait, how did this get here then? Let me go look and see over here. Didn't I get this to where I wanted it to be? Yeah, I got this to a good place. Okay. All right. So all right, what do I user any admin any? Yeah, that's fine. I don't care about that. Lib app. Okay, this got slimmed down to about what it needs to be. That looks right, at least. So what was I going to do? I was going to say type import express dot handler. Oh, I need to put the at there. There we go. That should fix it, yeah. And then let's go ahead and call res.json. And yeah, we can do this. Cool. So now that's good. We're going to go look at the server file. Okay, this is looking all right. And then let's see. All right, so I'm going to go in here. We're going to go into types. I want to take away this admin. And there we go. Bless me. Let's go ahead and do record string any. Do we want to do that? No, we just want to do any. It literally can be anything. Okay. User auth in. You can extend other types mod over the middleware. Yeah. What do I got in my buffer? Nothing. Okay. Here we tell the linter about our special alternative to res.result. All right, that's good. Let's see where I want to go from here. Let's go in types. Oh, there we go. Sometimes fixing unexpected, sometimes fixing that. Let's see. Let me think about how to say this. So what I want to communicate is when JavaScript inheritance, when proper JavaScript inheritance doesn't match up with TypeScript's super strict rules, you can cheat when, not proper, but I want to say when JavaScript answer. It doesn't match up with TypeScript super strict view of a class or model or whatever. You can hacky do it by creating a type alias or union of types or interfaces, etc. Let's see. I don't know if I want to call it that. Let's say I could do this. Let's see. So let's say type def user record. Let's see. Example, a database model looks like user and the base class also has functions from a base model class, but some nitty-gritty detail but for some reason yeah, this should work. Too tedious. Not just too tedious, but too laborious. Okay. All right. Dog name, cat name. I don't know. Favorite book. Favorite movie. There we go. So, wait, was this right? Okay, was it like this? Let me go check out the server file. Oh. Oh, it's very upset. Why? Why is it so upset? I'm just going to close out of there and open that up again. I was too upset. Okay, so let's see, admin. Let's do pretend this is our login function. Okay. Let's do let user equals user. I go into the app. Let's do this. Let's do all users. And then let's return, let's do user1 equals, will this work? I don't know if this is going to work. So give a name, AJ, family name, O'Neill. All users is all users. I don't know if we could do like type is like array user. I wonder if we could do something like this and get it to infer okay, cool. Oh, that's cool. All right, so what I want to demonstrate in here is really just like, oh, okay. Favorite movie, Jurassic Park. It should be everybody's favorite movie, right? Edit. Let's see. Kind of want to surface all this stuff in just one file, so I think I'm going to move this out of here. And I think I'm going to move it into the server.js, which is really not the right place for this kind of thing to go. Oh, hey, welcome. Where are you from? What do you do? What's your interest in Node? I have reached my limit. I need to go to bed, but I also want to get. What I'm trying to do here is construct an example. The link is in the doobly-doo as well as in the comment, the Beyond Code Bootcamp JS TypeScript starter. What I'm trying to do is come up with kind of a you do it for everything in the repo can work, but there's some things like the JavaScript will run just fine, but you'll get some linting errors like this. Okay. And I want to just give instruction in, like, you're going to get an error here. Here's how you go fix the error. Okay. So this is good. So I want to like make favorite book optional. To fix this error, make favorite book optional like favorite movie. See types.js. So I think that's what I want to do is I'm kind of designing this with some errors in mind. Yeah. All right. So let's see. If it knows that this is a router, let me go install. Yeah, okay, so I've got async router at latest. So it knows that this is a router. So what's going wrong here? Okay, so this one, how do I want to do this? So I kind of want to just see, because this one works pretty well implicitly. So I wonder why this is. Because this should get cast. It says rec res implicit. Everything has implicitly has the any type. I don't know why that is, because it's not the case here. I have a rec. It doesn't really give me any hinting. Well, let me go back. Just let it hover there for a second. No, it doesn't give me any hinting. Let's see. express error handlers need a type annotation, but that's okay. They're rare. Let's see. Okay, I think all users could actually be somewhere else. I think that's fine. Let me back this up. Let's see. So we'll have a given name, and then we'll have, yeah, let's just do this too. Banana. Let's call this Apple. Family name. Yeah, we'll go orange. Orange and fruit, banana and fruit. Let's do favorite book is What a Basket. Love, very hungry. Oh, the places you'll go. There we go. All right. And let's see. I don't know. I don't know how I want to have this. Should just push something in a minute anyway. All right, so I've got favorite movie is optional, but favorite book is not optional, right? So if I say this is of type user, well, actually, it's going to be implied. Okay. All right, let's say require user. That's what we're going to call this one. Require user. And equals this. HTTP server.listen. HTTP server.address. Okay. All right, let's see here. Maybe I could do lib my router. Could I do anything here? Okay. Lib my router.js. Okay, let's say module.export equals dot router equals use strict up here. Let's do var router equals require like that. Oops. Wrapping this makes it lose its type information. Fix that in lib myrouter.d.ts. Let's see. Options, return, router options. Let's see. Import at root async router. Star as, let's see. Was it like export equals router? I don't even remember. It's getting so, my mind's getting so foggy. I just need to quit. Uncomment this line to enable type to star as express from express, maybe? What do I need to do? Import express from express. Okay, and then export function express.router, and then router, maybe? Okay. Let's see. Normally creating a wrapper, even a simple one like this, will make TypeScript forget its types. However, you can see how we've fixed that, and blah, 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 blah. Okay. Lib myrouter dot, is this right? Myrouter.js, myrouter.d.ts. Okay. We fixed that for any file that requires this. However, to not get errors in this file, since it's JavaScript, we must also include the JSDoc annotation. Okay, and so this is going to be at param import express dot router options at returns import at root async router. Is that right? Router is not definable. Huh. Let's see if this is right. At import no, there we go, right? Cannot find, oh, and this should be right. Type router is not assignable to type options. Yeah, it is. Literally it is. Because it did just that. Oh, whoops. Oh, I might have to go back and redo that one little bit there. So let me go back in here and see. Lib index.js. Okay, so it is not just options. It is import express.router options. Let's see if I can change that over here. Import express.router options. I don't know what this is going on about. Router is not assignable to type. Options. Maybe handler? I don't know. I don't quite know what's going on here. I'm a little confused. Because it's working fine over here. Export functions router, express.router. Express.router options. Express.router options. Express.router, I just do it this way? Okay. Interesting. Okay. It does say that it returns express.router. So I don't know why it's given a bunch of crud, but whatever. All right, what do you want now? TSC. All right, let's see if with that defined, if this still works. Huh. All right, I don't know what's going on there. All right. I'm just going to commit this and come back to it tomorrow. Yeah, I need sleep. It's, oh crap, it's past 3. That's not good. It's not good at all. see, what did I change in there? Doesn't look like I changed anything. Oh, I just got rid of admin. Okay, so let's put a comment here. Come on, what's going on? Why is something broken? What did I do this time? Okay. How do I get rid of all the crap in here? And just trim it down to what's important. Let's see. So if it starts with any amount of white space, and then, let's see, starts with any white space and then has a comment, then let's just get rid of it. So that one will keep, oops. There we go. Delete, 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 delete. Delete, 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 delete. Okay. Okay, what's going on here? Oh, it just got hung up for some reason. Okay, try turning one of these into a typo. Look. TS server knows that this let's see. This isn't explicitly typed here, but it will still be type checked. console.log user1 dot first name. TS server knows that first name can't possibly exist. All right, knows that a match can be null. See the error message below to fix this. All right. All right, just going through. Leave this empty. All libs in the target. All libs in target will be loaded. Allow node style require. Okay. Do not resolve the real path of symlinks. We'll work with base tag. Let's see. We'll resolve dependencies of dependencies. It's pretty important. Let's see. What do we got here? Ends with a comma. Let's get rid of these commas here. Okay, why is that not working out the way I want it to? Let me see if this is a valid JavaScript file. Just 1 second. Config.js var x equals config.js. It looks like strict true and no implicit any are wrong. Okay. Strict true, no implicit any. Pay close attention to your tsconfig.json. Here are the things that are easy to mess up. Okay, what do we got? Must be set. Exactly. All right, so let me just get rid of all these comments, I guess. Here are the things that should not be set. I don't know. I gotta come back to this in the morning. I can't do it. I can't do it. All right. Source files. Oh, sorry, I'm just out of it. Let's see, compiler options, dot type roots. Local and external. All right. Lib. Should be commented out. Don't use this. All right, you may implicit any false and change it to true once you've solved for all of the most basic errors. To list all errors in the code base. How to list all. See all warnings and errors. run tsc from the directory where tsconfig.json exists. Make sure that include is set properly to include all your code. And let's see, what was it? The other thing, type roots is set to include your type overrides. So all of your code and JSDoc types, and the type roots is, and there we go. All right, something's going wrong, but it's okay. Jimmy crack corn and I don't care. Let's see. That one seems to be working. All right, package lock. Okay, no test, blah, 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 blah. I'll fix any and all of that later as needed. Oh boy, it's way too late. Easy to demonstrate errors. Okay, I'm out. Sorry. Like, feel like, blah, 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 blah. Thumbs, you know, whatever. Bedtime.